Hey, good afternoon. This is Meredith Lego, and I'm doing a series of videos on Ascension science. And if you're new to this channel, I usually am sharing content that I have been able to channel from other multidimensional beings, and I'm able to connect with them during or after meditation and sort of do a Q&A process, if you will, sort of asking questions that I'm curious about and sharing the content with all of you who are interested or resonate with the content. So this particular session, it's going to focus a little bit more on ascension through stargates. Again, because it was just an area that I was exploring or curious about. So in this particular session, it was the content was brought forward by collective consciousness. Again, I don't necessarily have a name, but it was a sort of a consciousness group. And there was no question that I started with when when content basically started coming through. So it starts with joy abounds. Hold steadfast in your heart center with the vibrational frequency you want to see reflected in this world. That should be your only focus at this time. So this is really key. If you're new to the channel, I would highly encourage that you go back to the very beginning, because a lot of the theme of that particular paragraph was actually touched upon in the first 10 videos or so, and it has to do with the quantum field and how our frequency basically can sort of reflect out as we live in sort of like a holographic quantum world, if you will, and it's all physics, but basically can reflect back to you exactly what you're experiencing in this world. And it's all done through sort of the manipulation of quantum material based upon sound frequency. And that sound frequency is really generated by your own internal frequency. So if your frequency is low, you're going to be you're going to get an experience that sort of reflects your frequency and your vibes, if you will. And if you have, high vibes, you're going to get probably a more pleasant experience. So again, think about that. Put out that frequency that you want to see mirrored or reflected back to you in this world. And the key thing is that should be your only focus at this time. And I think that's really key, because so much of us want to, so many of us have sort of opinions of everybody else in this world. And I think, if anything, the lessons that have continued time and time and again is stop worrying about everybody else, because that's your ego. Focus in on yourself. That's the one thing you can control, and control the thoughts, the emotions, and the feelings that you're having first and foremost, because when you can do that with a higher frequency, it's going to be reflected back to you. They go on to say that the search for greatness is the ego. Let go of biased and fear-based beliefs that serve only the ego. Cycle or circulate back a positive timeline through your vibration, and by doing so, you alter the timeline. So again, this goes back to previous lessons about how to sort of maneuver through timelines as well, and it has everything to do with your own internal frequency. So then I finally was able to ask a question, and I asked, can humans walk through 12-dimensional stargates? So again, this was at a time that I was still exploring the idea of stargates being physical gates, kind of like in the movie, if you will. The movie Stargate, or the popular television show. And, I guess I'm associating sort of 12D as being, maybe higher or something like that, or maybe a higher frequency, and just didn't know if that meant going to a different location, or such a high frequency that it couldn't be entered if it's truly a physical gate. And the answer I got back is must be a frequency match. So basically that implies that whatever the Stargate concept is, it definitely only occurs if there's a frequency match within the individual who's sort of moving through the gate. The question that I asked then is, okay, so is moving to a 5-dimensional frequency only achieved through vibrational frequency, and or shifting the hologram, and or by entering a Stargate. And then I got back a Stargate. Raising frequency is needed in order to get through the gates. Then I asked, to ascend, are the gates entered into physically or through multidimensional consciousness? And the answer I got is both are technically feasible. However, the optimal path right now for evolving frequency is through your own internal stargates found within the heart center or the 0 point. So what that means to me, and I didn't explore why is it optimal, but basically the optimal path is basically by going within as opposed to going through some sort of physical device, and essentially using the portal, the consciousness portal that you have internally within your own wonderful technology that you have within your multi-dimensional bodies in order to essentially ascend and shift timelines. So if you kind of think about gates, maybe it's just another way of saying you're shifting timelines. So that's basically the answer that I got back. So that's really all that particular session held in terms of content. Just wanted to share it. And if this content resonates with you, I would encourage you to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to this content and haven't watched the channel before, I encourage you to sign up for alerts so that you could get additional content like this in the future. With that, have a great rest of your day. Thanks. Bye.